SportsBeat is brought to you by Ken Garth. We hear you.
Thanks for staying up with us. JJ and Sam with you for the next 45 minutes. Tonight we break down a busy week in the NFL. We'll show you where locals landed in free agency. And Thurl Bailey looks back on his run to a national title with NC State back in 1983.
Plus, Utah State head coach Craig Smith looks back on the Aggies season, and BYU star Yoeli Childs shares his thoughts on his senior year that came to that abrupt end.
Yeah, but we start with news that will impact the 2020 Tokyo Olympics.
The Tokyo Summer Games are scheduled to begin on July 24th. Is it possible, though, that the Olympics could be postponed or even canceled?
Well, the IOC finally addressed the situation Sunday and announced that it will make a decision whether to postpone the Summer Olympics at some point in the next 4 weeks. This is the first statement from the IOC that the Olympics could be postponed. The statement did add that canceling the Games is not under consideration, saying, quote, the cancellation of the Olympic Games would not solve any of the problems or help anybody. Therefore, cancellation is not on the agenda. But Lawrence Gostin, the director of the World Health Organization's Center on Global Health Law, told the Wall Street Journal that the Games should not go on in July. Quote, it would be the height of folly to consider going forward, and that's if the borders opened, travel restrictions lifted, and airlines started flying, unquote. USA Swimming and USA Track and Field has called for the Games to be postponed.
And north of the border, the Canadian Olympic Committee took it a step further, releasing a statement saying that they will not send any of their Olympic or Paralympic athletes to Japan if the Games are not postponed. Part of the release states, quote, it is not safe for our athletes and the health and safety of their families to continue training towards these games.
There's Jazz news. Despite the season being suspended, Donovan Mitchell making a donation to the Granite School District this week to help provide meals to students during the school closure due to COVID-19.
Jazz center Rudy Gobert already pledged $200,000 to help those employees of the arena during this time period. And now the Miller family is joining in, saying they will more than match Gobert's donation to help out. The Miller Sports and Entertainment Group also plans to help those interested in finding employment with jobs that are in high demand right now if they need employment.
All right, the Archive has been a segment on SportsBeat for a while now. Each Sunday, we dust off some old tapes back in the archive and relive memories from this state's glorious sports history. With no live sports right now, we've taken the archive to Twitter.
Yeah, JJ's been posting video with the hashtag KSL Sports Archive. You, the viewers, if you're on Twitter, chime in, make requests. He'll dive in there for you.
I'll bring it to you.
One of those memorable moments that he's dug up, how about this one from 1989?
This is a classic. The Jazz were down 7 with 40 seconds left, but rallied to within 1 with 3 seconds left. Thurl Bailey, the inbounds pass to John Stockton, who goes right at Michael Jordan with a Euro step before there was a Euro step. Somehow gets that bucket to go at the buzzer. The place went nuts. The Jazz get a 108-107 win over Jordan. The Bulls. Jordan's 40-point night overshadowed by John's heroics. I heard from a lot of people on Twitter that were there. They still talk about it 31 years later. That's how cool that moment was.
I remember watching it.
All right, we have to take a short break. When we come back, BYU hoop star Yoeli Childs on his time at BYU.
And a trip down memory lane with Thurl Bailey.
He said, I know that I'm going to win a national championship.
What was it like to be part of the most improbable national championship in the history of March Madness? On the latest Thurl Talk, Big T explains how NC State pulled it off in 1983.
The world's going to grow from this. You know, our country's going to grow from this. BYU sports, we're going to grow from this. And as a team, we're going to grow from this.
Yoeli Childs shares his thoughts on the abrupt end to his senior season. That's coming up next.
SportsBeat is brought to you by Ken Garth. We hear you.
Let's jump back into the archive, brought to you by 1-800-GOT-JUNK. This one takes us back to 1988, a preseason game played down at Dixie College. Karl Malone gets blocked by Rick Smits, but then he serves him right back.
Block there.
Makes a poster out of him with that throwdown. You know, you just got to get out of the way of Karl Malone when he's driving the lane, especially a young Karl Malone.
Oh, my gosh. Young Karl Malone was a freight train. Scary. All right. We all miss the NBA terribly. Until the association returns to action, we'll continue to enjoy looking back on some of the best moments of the season so far.
Yeah, last week we took a look at the top 5 plays during the month of February. So let's turn the page back one more month, and here are the top 5 Jazz plays from January.
Watch Watch him rise up, bowler. And he's what,
6'1" after the remeasure.
All right, that's fast becoming Donovan Mitchell's signature play. How many times and how many players, especially at his size, have the athleticism to recover and finish like that?
He'll skip it the other side of the floor. Royce O'Neal, how about it?
Oh, the passing. Bojan keeps himself from falling out of bounds, finds Royce O'Neal, who then threads the needle to Rudy for the dunk against the Knicks. You know, when the Jazz offense is running like that, it's running well. That's number 4.
Donovan with a circus shot. My goodness, how?
And look at the spin on the ball. That's English.
That's right, Donovan with a little English to get past his good friend Josh Hart to score 2 against the New Orleans Pelicans.
Inside. Oh, my! Donovan! Where did he come from and put a footer right on the hands of Gobert?
Man, you know, the more you watch this play, the more spectacular it seems to get. Donovan Mitchell, the quick flip over the head to Rudy Gobert for the stuff, and then wait for it right here. You see that? The wink. That may be the best part.
To work out on the perimeter. Rudy gets turned around. DeLon right. Blocked! Oh, my! Where did he come from?
Oh, the ability to recover and block this shot. How many players in the NBA can do this? Rudy Gobert with a game-winning play against DeLon Wright and the Dallas Mavericks. One of the Jazz's most thrilling wins of the season.
This is Thurl Bailey, and welcome to Thurl Talk. This is really about the journey. You know, every Tuesday, I want to take this journey with you. I talk to people every day, and one of the most important things that I take away from those conversations a lot of times are stories. I hope that will really connect with what you'll be hearing from me. That's one great thing about stories. We can learn a lot from each other.
Man, he could play, but he can also tell a great story. Do you miss March Madness? We do too over here at KSL Sports. Well, we've got a way to help you get your tournament fix by reliving some of the all-time great moments of that tournament. And in the latest edition of the Thurl Talk podcast, which you can find at KSLSports.com, Big T reminisces about his improbable championship run with Coach Jimmy V and NC State.
And we knew that they were about to bring in this new guy that they had just hired. We didn't know him. We heard he came from some school called Iona, and we didn't know much about that. So he walks in the door, and I remember kind of peeking up from my arms crossed, don't want to hear it position. Looked around me, and nobody else was really looking up either. Because basically what our body language was saying was we didn't want to hear it. Right? Our coach had just taken off. We don't know you, guy. We don't know who you are. We just know, you know, you're some 6'2" Italian guy who used to coach at another school. And now you want to come in here and take this team over. Well, we don't trust you. We don't know you. He said, first of all, my name is Coach Valvano. I'm your new coach. You guys can call me Coach. You can call me V. He said, but I want you to look at me. I want to tell you about my dream. He said, I know that I'm going to win a national championship. He said it with all the confidence in the world. Guys, I know I'm going to win one. I've dreamt about it. I know it's going to happen. And if I can get you to see what I'm seeing, to dream what I'm dreaming, I know we can get there. One of our practices, our first practices with him, the assistant coaches have us in there getting warmed up, and Coach Valvano's running a little bit late, and he walks in with a ladder under his arms. And he walks over underneath the basket, and he puts the ladder underneath the hoop, and he reaches in his pocket, and he pulls out these gold pair of scissors that we had seen on his desk before. And he says, guys, today, all we're going to do for the next 2 hours is we're going to practice cutting down the nets. You're going to take these scissors, cut your piece of net down, and I'm going to go up last, cut the net down, put it over my neck, and you guys are going to pick me up and carry me around this 12,000-seat empty Reynolds Coliseum, and you're going to pretend like you just won a national championship. How would that feel? What would you do? What would that be like? We find ourselves in a national championship game with a team. You look them up. Just Google Phi Slamma Jamma, led by Hall of Famer Clyde Drexler, led by Hall of Famer Hakeem Olajuwon. I swear, when we first saw them, I thought it was an NBA team masquerading as college kids. 7 seconds left on the clock. I get the ball in the left corner. So I threw a baseball pass right before half court. I mean, Derek was way out there. Derek Wittenberg reaches out and grabs it and heaves up. But everybody can see is going to be short, an air ball. As that ball floated towards the rim, my teammate on the opposite side of the rim, the late, great Lorenzo Charles, reaches up, grabs it, dunks it in. We're all looking around like, what just happened? Fans are starting to rush the floor. I fall to my knees because we had just beat one of the greatest teams in college basketball history. A Cinderella team who got nicknamed the Cardiac Kids. It was a surreal scene. We had done the impossible. And this is the point where the team's kind of gathering around. The NCAA official comes over with a box with a pair of scissors in it. And as he walks over, I see Coach Valvano's hand go up, kind of halting him in his tracks. He reaches in his pocket and he pulls out the gold pair of scissors we had practiced with. The awkward practices of cutting down the net, trying to get us to visualize what that would look like, feel like. We felt like we had been there before.
Now, with the start of the Major League Baseball season postponed, Atlanta Braves star Freddie Freeman is only left with playing ball in the backyard with his 3-year-old son, Charlie. And Freddie shows no mercy to his fastball and sends it over the fence. Young Charlie, he didn't take it too well. Oh, yeah. Somebody gave him the sign with the Astros banging cans in the background there. That's too easy.
That is fantastic. Well, with the college basketball season officially over and done with, Matt Van Komen decided his career with the Runnin' Utes is also over and done with. The 7'4" freshman from Pleasant Grove plans to enter the transfer portal. He only played 9 games for the Utes this past season.
We've also learned that Utah Valley star Isaiah White will enter the transfer portal. He's a graduate transfer and will be eligible to play immediately somewhere else. He averaged 14.5 points per game last season before playing last season at Utah Valley. He was a star at Salt Lake Community College. The Southern California native played for Mark Pope for a year at Utah Valley. All right. The BYU Cougars never got a chance to see how far they could go in the NCAA tournament, and we've now seen the last of BYU's Yoeli Childs. He will go down as one of the best players in school history. He was a guest on Cougar Sports Saturday on KSL News Radio and shared his thoughts on his career at BYU.
Appreciate you hopping on board, man. Just kind of take us through the NCAA tournament's canceled. How's this week? How you been holding up?
It's been unbelievably painful for all the guys. Obviously, last Monday didn't go how we wanted it to, but we were in a position where we felt that it was preparing us for bigger things. We were all really excited for an opportunity that we've been fighting all season for, and a lot of us have been fighting our whole lives for. So it's definitely a very disappointing and hard time. A lot of the guys, we actually just got done playing pickup because that's one of the only things that feels normal right now is playing the game together. None of us want it to end, but we're going to grow from this. Throughout this pandemic, the world's going to grow from this. Our country's going to grow from this. BYU sports, we're going to grow from this, and as a team, we're going to grow from this. And we've built bonds that are going to last a lifetime, and we're just trying to have faith at this time that God's plan is greater than our plan.
Yoeli, take us through the day that the NCAA tournament was canceled. What was it like in the morning? Did you guys have any idea that it was heading that direction, and when did you guys get the news?
Coach was talking to us about possibly there being a pushback where the NCAA tournament would be delayed. And as he was saying that, he got news the tournament was canceled, and it kind of just took the air out of the room. There was a long period of silence and a lot of tears, a lot of pain. This team has just sacrificed so much more than people realize. Every single guy on this team, we were really excited to make our dreams become a reality. So it almost felt like a bad dream, but here we are. We're in a position where we just have to keep pushing and keep going with our lives and keep getting better.
I always think, Yoeli, back to last May when you announced.
Cougar Nation, I want to let you guys know I'm coming back for my senior year. Let's make some magic happen.
Do you feel like special was achieved in the 32 games you were able to play with this team?
I think that we obviously hoped for a different kind of special. We hoped to make noise in the tournament, and that's just reality. That's what we were hoping for, and that's what we wanted. But it's been special to see this community gather around this team. It's been special to see the way we fought for each other, the way we sacrificed, the way each player has thrown out individual agendas to make the team better. It's been special to see the sacrifice and the love in this locker room and with our fan bases. And it's definitely a group of guys that I'll remember forever. And for that reason, I feel it was a special day. It breaks my heart that I'm never going to be able to play on that court again for those fans. But It's been a heck of a journey. It's been a ton of fun, and I'll be a Cougar for the rest of my life.
Well, we have some BYU football news this week as well. Kalani Sitake announced that Harvey Unga will be taking over full-time as the Cougars' new running backs coach. Unga spent the past 4 seasons on staff as a graduate assistant. The hope is that he will be able to bring that same toughness and dominance he had as a runner to that position group.
He really wanted me to build that same, dominance that the running backs had before I was playing, while I was playing.
We lost Harvey there, unfortunately. Up next, no pro day, no problem for Utah running back Zach Moss.
And Utah State coach Craig Smith will be speaking. He talks about what the reaction from players like Sam Merrill and Diogo Brito were like when he told them that there would be no NCAA tournament. You'll want to hear that coming up.
But before we go to break, February of 2000, Weber State head coach Joe Cravens didn't like the call. And while arguing with officials, he created a new dance craze. It's called the block charge.
Yes.
One of the funniest moments I've ever seen in a college basketball game. Here he goes. Head to the locker room, Coach. We love you, Joe.
We're diving back into SportsBeat and diving right back into the archive, back into November of 2003 in Colorado Springs. Utah and Air Force in triple overtime. Ben Moa scoring a touchdown on 4th and goal to tie the game. Then they go for the 2, and Urban dials up the jump pass that Tim Tebow would later make famous. But Ben Moa did it first to Matt Hansen for the win. The Utes finished that year 10-2. Not bad. They would win the Liberty Bowl and finish the season ranked nationally in the top 25.
Athletes, including former Ute Zach Moss, have been recording their workouts on video and sharing them with teams across the league because pro days have been canceled. Moss ran a 4.52 40-yard dash, more than 1/10 of a second faster than what he ran at the NFL Combine.
What's up? It's Zach Moss here. Just wanted to come out here, due to the coronavirus, and get a little workout in, and prove myself again with this 40-yard dash.
Sam rises for 3. Yes! You've got to be kidding me! Sam, I am! Merrill, straightaway 3. Sam Merrill is a freaking stud. Sam Merrill, the greatest Aggie to ever don a uniform at Utah State.
A stud, freaking stud, as he said, right? The 2019-20 Utah State men's basketball team will forever be known as one of the very few college hoops teams this season that ended the season with a tournament championship. But Coach Craig Smith says that still doesn't soften the sting of the abrupt ending to the season.
It was just one of those years. It was a fantastic season. We ended up 26-8 and win the Mountain West Conference tournament championship and qualify for the NCAA tournament. And that's a difficult thing to do, especially at our level. And to be able to do it back-to-back years, I think says a lot about our program and the state moving forward. And so we had a tremendous group of guys in our program. This year was a lot more difficult in a lot of ways than maybe last year, just because we just had way more injuries this year than we did the year before. We had tremendous chemistry, but we had to overcome a lot more. 2020 didn't start out in a very good fashion, losing 4 of our first 5. And for the first time in our time here, we had lost back-to-back games. And so there was a lot of things going on that way, but our guys really righted the ship. I thought we finished with a flourish, playing our best basketball down the stretch, won 9 of our last 10. And we're really in a fantastic position, and we felt very good about going into the NCAA tournament. It's a long season, and ups and downs, and you name it. You go through a lot of different things, and we were peaking at the right time. And that's what we kept telling our guys. We're just scratching the surface of how good we're going to become. And we were peaking at the right time, and we were very, very healthy. So many things were going right. And so we do all this stuff, and we winning all these games, and you go through senior night, and of course we had a great group of seniors, and then we had a difficult loss against New Mexico, and we were on almost every game the last 2 years we've been on the bubble. We only had one practice after we had won the Mountain West Championship, and our practice was lights out, and you could tell we were on a mission. And then one day later, everything's changed. And it's just amazing how fast the world changed in a very short amount of time. But, you know, there's certain moments in life that you just always remember where you were when you found out the news, right? With whatever, it might be a passing of someone that you're close to. It might be you're awarded something that you've been trying to get, and you just remember that exact moment, and so good or bad. And the NCAA canceled the tournament at roughly 2:15 on a Thursday afternoon, and we had practice scheduled for 3:15. So we come down, and our closure was talking on the floor right here and giving hugs. And I've never seen Sam Merrill emotional. I don't think I've ever seen him shed a tear. I've coached him for 2 weeks shy of 2 years, and he just streams of emotion coming down. And we get done talking, and Diogo Brito, I'm looking for Diogo to give him a big hug, and he had sprinted up the hallway because he just didn't want it to be done. He just didn't want it to be over, and he wasn't ready for it. It's hard to know what to say except I'm sorry, you know, just the empathy for them and how hard they have worked, and it's such a dream for them to do that. And they have four opportunities to do this, right? What are the odds that the 1 year the Mountain West Conference moves up their conference tournament is this year? And that allowed us this opportunity to play in that tournament and to defend our title and to do it. That's a memory our guys will never forget. And all three of those games were tough games and hard-fought games. But to be able to cut down the nets again, and the way we did it to defeat the number 5 ranked San Diego State Aztecs, who has a phenomenal team. You know, that victory was against the highest ranked opponent in the history of Utah State basketball. So there's so many great things that came out of this season, but yet your heart just bleeds for those young men. You know, there's hard times that you got to go through, and it's only going to help them become a better person, a better man, a better husband, a better father, you know, down the road. So we're just so thankful for the ability to share and experience these last 6 months together.
You know, I'm convinced, Sam, that BYU and Utah State would have won a couple games in the tournament, and my heart breaks for those guys, but you know what? They had that moment in Vegas that they'll never forget for the rest of their lives.
Feels like we weren't ready for it to end either.
No, we were not. All right, up next, the best video of the week.
Yeah, no live sports doesn't mean there isn't great video out there, because there is.
Yeah, Tony Finau's family switches into their Sunday best, and this Major League Baseball player showed no mercy to his son, as we showed you earlier. But we are not going to end yet. We're going to go to break with this. The Archive 2004 Mountain West Championship game. Utah and UNLV tied in the final seconds. Nick Jacobson for the win. The Utes beat UNLV to win the 2004 Mountain West Conference Championship. A great memory for Utah fans. We'll be back after this.
All right, you ready for this? This is our best video of the week. How much time do you have? Do you have to be able to practice this shot, right? And then make it? Either way, it's still pretty amazing. Chips the CD-ROM right into the drive. Come on. That's pretty good.
Tony Finau and his family flip the switch on the Sabbath and then share it with us on TikTok.
Gotta love that. All right, we've seen people spending their self-isolation time in the house juggling toilet paper, right? But look at this girl. Took it up a notch with the actual soccer ball in the backyard, over the head, in the hoop. And look at her face. She's like, did anyone else see that? Did you just see what I did?
Guess what? We all have now. That's pretty impressive.
Love it.
One more time. Oh, never mind. We won't see it one more time. All right, Utah State senior Diogo Brito. We heard about him earlier. He'll miss playing in front of fans of the Spectrum and the great tradition of the winning team, losing team chant.
It's unlike any other venue, right? With the entire campus sent home due to the COVID-19 outbreak, Diogo, while practicing social distancing, enjoyed the tradition one last time for himself.
Is that not the scoreboard? Yes, that is the scoreboard. Is that not an 81? Yes, that is an 81. Is that not a 76? Yes, that is a 76. Is that not the winning team? Yes, that is the winning team. Is that not the losing team? Yes, that is the losing team. Winning team, losing team, winning team, losing team, winning team, losing team, winning team, losing team, winning team, losing team. Woo! Go Aggies!
They're going to miss Diogo at Utah State. Oh.
Love it. Hey, did you know you can still find some live sports on TV? Over the weekend, they had some. Australian rules football. still going on, empty stadiums, but games still being played.
Generating another opportunity deep, but that ball, in the end, it wasn't taken by Mackesy. Onto it is Papley. That is danger, danger, danger. Papley is celebrating. He looked to the crowd. There was no one there. So he shares the joy with his Sydney teammates.
Yeah, there's no one there, but there is some danger, danger, danger out there. Still smiles on the faces of these athletes, even though they can't play in front of the crowd. And if you're wondering, the Sydney Swans came from behind to beat the Adelaide Crows 74-71.
I'm crushed. I'm a long-time Adelaide Crows fan.
Kenny Rogers puts Jordan in the popcorn machine and hits a 21-footer. How about that shot?
Now we mourn the loss of Kenny Rogers, who passed away on Saturday at the age of 81. This is a charity basketball game back in 1988, the Kenny Rogers Classic weekend. And while Michael Jordan was the main draw, Kenny isn't too bad himself. You saw him get Michael Jordan to bite on the pump fake, and he dropped a step-back three on the greatest of all time. Dominique Wilkins and Larry Bird also were part of this. Also, Lorenzo Lamas. For those of you that remember the 80s well, he was playing there as well. All right.
Got to know when to hold him. Got to know when to step back and drop a three in Jordan's face, too.
And Kenny certainly, you could say that Kenny roasted Michael Jordan right there. All right. We're going to leave you with some of the best moments that we showed in our archive tonight. Thanks for watching tonight.
Good night.